Welcome to Soldier's Legacy. In the world of command and discipline, respect isn't given, it's earned. And sometimes, one mistake can turn a proud soldier's confidence into silence. The story begins aboard the U.S.S. Horizon, a steel giant slicing through the dark waves of the Pacific. Tension had been rising for weeks in known radar signals, shadow operations, and a leadership vacuum that left the crew restless. Captain Ryan Cole, known across the fleet for his strict leadership, was doing everything to keep order among chaos. His ship had lost contact with command for 72 hours. No new orders, no explanation. And when the chain of command breaks, tempers always follow. That morning, the storm outside matched the storm within. The deck was wet, lights flickering, as the crew scrambled to stabilize communications. Cole walked the corridor, jaw tight, voice sharp. "Got us on transmission." "Still nothing, sir," replied his XO. Cole slammed his hand against the wall. 3 days in the dark. That's not an accident. He turned the corner and that's when he saw her. A woman in her 30s, soaked from the rain, stood in the entryway to the command deck. Her posture was straight, her expression unreadable. She wore no visible insignia, just a black naval coat with an old patch that read Pacific Command Authority. Cole's tone hardened. "Who authorized you aboard this vessel?" She said nothing, only looked past him toward the command screens. The silence was enough to push his patience to the edge. He stepped forward, grabbed her shoulder, and pushed her lightly against the wall, not in violence, but in control. "This is an active military vessel. You don't step on my bridge unannounced." Her eyes met his, calm, steady, and sharp as steel. Then she spoke, voice quiet but commanding. "Captain Cole, you've just laid hands on your commanding officer." The corridor froze. Every sailor nearby stopped moving. Cole blinked, his hand lowering slowly. "Excuse me?" She reached into her coat pocket, pulled out a laminated badge, and pressed it against his chest. "Rear Admiral Evelyn Shaw, Pacific Command." For a moment, even the storm seemed to go silent. Cole stepped back, his voice faltering. "Admiral," she interrupted sharply. "Save it." Her tone wasn't angry, but it sliced through him like a blade. She walked past him toward the command console, eyes scanning the chaos of the monitors. 3 days without contact, she said. "And instead of maintaining order, you're interrogating your own officers." Cole straightened his posture. "With all due respect, Admiral, no one told us you were inbound." "That's because I wasn't supposed to be," she replied. "This ship is now under direct classified command, effective immediately." The crew exchanged glances, whispers spreading like sparks. Rumors began to swirl up 2 missions, Black Ops Authority, secrets that could sink ships. Later that night, as the rain battered the hull, Shaw summoned Cole to the briefing room. The air between them was heavy. She stood near the window, hands clasped behind her back, eyes on the storm. "You think leadership is about control, Captain?" "It's about discipline and responsibility," he replied. "No," she said, turning to face him. "It's about trust. You lost yours the moment you let fear dictate your orders." Cole's jaw tightened. "You think I feared this? I've led this crew through fire and blood. I've buried men for this uniform." Her expression softened slightly, not with pity but recognition. "I know I read your file, Fallujah, Delta Evac, Kilo Base Mutiny. You've carried more than most." "Then why treat me like a rookie?" he asked. "'Cause you still act like one," she said simply. "React before you think. You assume before you understand." He exhaled, the anger fading into something closer to curiosity. "You've been off the grid for 2 years? Everyone thought rumors aren't orders?" She cut him off. "I was reassigned to Black Command. And what's coming next will make your last deployment look like child's play." He stared at her. "What's coming?" She lowered her voice. "A rogue strike team went dark. They've stolen launch codes tied to the Pacific Defense Grid. And your ship is the only one close enough to intercept." Cole blinked. "And that's why you're here." She nodded. "I needed a captain who questions orders but obeys when it matters." For the first time, he saw something beyond her rank, a person carved by the same weight he carried. He gave a faint smile. "So I shoved my commanding admiral against a wall." Her lips curved slightly. "You did? Consider that your reprimand and your initiation." The following days turned the ship into a storm of steel and orders. Under Admiral Shaw's direction, the U.S.S. Horizon moved fast through hostile waters. Chasing encrypted transmissions and ghost signals from the stolen strike team, she was relentless. When missiles struck near the bow, she didn't hide behind. Rank Shi grabbed a headset and directed the counterstrike herself. When the deck flooded, she was there with the sailors, securing lines and shouting over the chaos. Cole watched her differently now. Every command she gave carried calm authority, the kind born not from textbooks, but from surviving chaos. Late one night, as the storm quieted, he found her alone on the observation deck. "You knew I'd react that way, didn't you?" "What?" he said softly. She turned toward him, her face half lit by the red glow of the navigation lights. "I needed to see who you were when the chain of command broke. Now I know," he smirked. "Who am I?" "A soldier who leads with instinct," she said, "and a man still learning control." They stood in silence, waves crashing far below. She looked out at the endless horizon. "When I took command of this fleet, I lost people who followed me without question. I promised myself I'd never lead blind loyalty again. I'd lead truth." "And what happens when truth defies orders?" he asked. "Then you make sure your conscience can carry it," she said. Suddenly the alarms blared. The rogue vessel had been spotted less than 50 miles away. Cole snapped into motion, shouting commands. Shaw was already there, eyes locked on the radar. "Enemy ship confirmed moving fast," the comm officer shouted. "Target them before they disappear again," Shaw ordered. Cole looked at her. "They're heading into civilian waters." "I know," she said. "That's why we can't miss." As the horizon surged through the waves, the storm broke overhead, lightning flashing across the sea. Cole gripped the rail beside her as the deck tilted. "You sure about this?" She glanced at him, voice steady. "Command doesn't pay me to be sure. It pays me to be right." The ship's guns roared. A fireball lit the sky where the rogue vessel once was. For a moment, the ocean was silent again. The crew erupted into cheers, but Shaw didn't smile. She stared into the smoke, her expression distant. Hours later, as dawn bled across the horizon, Cole found her on the deck again. "You knew some of them, didn't you?" he asked quietly. She nodded once. "They were my team." "Before they went dark?" He didn't speak. There were no words for that kind of burden. She finally turned toward him. "Leadership isn't about power, Captain. It's about how much loss you can carry without breaking." He met her eyes. "Then I hope I never make Admiral." She smiled faintly. "You already think like one." The two stood side by side as the first light of morning touched the sea. The storm had passed, but something in both of them had changed. He had learned that command isn't about control. It's about understanding when to yield. She had learned that strength isn't proven by silence, but by the moments when you let someone else take the helm. In the end, Captain Cole and Admiral Shaw became the calm and the storm to leaders bound by the same mission, the same respect, and the same unspoken truth. Rank is only power until character walks into the room. It's his soldier's legacy.